2005, America watched as the floodwaters of Hurricane Katrina broke the levees in New Orleans. It drove people from their homes and just completely devastated the area.
Many survivors began to journal their experience as a way of coping with the displacement and the loss that they were feeling. Swimming Upstream is a theatrical production opening today in Atlanta, and it is a compilation of journal entries performed by an ensemble cast. With us today are two members of that cast, Jasmine Guy and Shirley Knight. Ladies, it's so nice to have you with us today. And of course, people will recognize both of you from your careers in television and stage. But now you're a part of this new cast that has begun to travel. Shirley, you've been with the cast from the beginning.
Yes, we did it in New Orleans, and we did it at the Superdome. There were 30,000 people that came, and it was done for the women of New Orleans, and they had many truckloads of women who were displaced after Katrina, and many from Atlanta. They came down on buses. The V-Day people, Eve Ensler, they brought them down, and we had a whole two-day event where the women were able to have massages and facials and have their nails done, and it was a wonderful event. And then that evening, we did this piece, Swimming Upstream, and it was an extraordinary experience. I was very pleased to be a part of it. And at the time, Kenny Leon, the director, said, "I hope that I can do it at my theater in Atlanta," because it was such a success in New Orleans, and I'm hopeful that I can do it in Atlanta. And he brought us here, so it's wonderful.
In the play, it kind of emerged, didn't it? It wasn't like somebody sat down with an idea or a theme and wrote a screenplay or a theatrical treatment.
No, it was written by these poets and musicians, composers, all women in Atlanta, and Eve Ensler put it all together. So it's a kind of joint, wonderful effort.
And written by people who actually experienced the events of Katrina and the displacement and the devastation. So this was very real for them. They were drawing from their own life experience. What was it like? And you have some members in the cast also that are not professional actors or actresses, but they are the real people who wrote some of the journal entries.
Yes, they actually had to audition for the piece, as any actor would. And out of, I don't know how many women they started with, I think maybe 30, you know, these women auditioned to be able to perform the pieces that they had written. So what you'll see tonight are actors and actors at it for the first time performing, but I have to say, you won't see a difference in any of them. I mean, we have a multi-dynamic, faceted company of women, and joining the company here the first time, my first rehearsal was Monday. It was actually, I was in the rehearsal and watching the show at the same time. I was so moved and riveted, not only by the stories themselves, reliving the stories, but the way they're told, how poetic and how beautiful they're written. And then there's music. There's original music, and I love the music. Yes, so it's a wonderful journey. It's before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm, and how their lives were transformed by the storm.
So it's not just journals of people that you extracted, that some before, some in the middle, and some after, but the continuation of the journey through it?
Yes, the same people, where they were, you know, where they were when it happened.
What happened to them?
Whether it were Walmart, or, you know, trying to decide, are we cooking dinner tonight or are we evacuating, to the true devastation of what they were in for, through their experience during the actual flooding and the abandonment that they experienced, and into how they were transformed, how their losses and their gains, and spiritual transformation. You know, where it put into perspective for some of them what life was about, how particular I was about where everything was in my house, and now